little bit. Going live a little bit early. Give people about 20 minutes to filter in. If they filter in. Looks like I've got 4 people in right now. So, I don't know what I was kind of leading in with when I was like, well, I mean, is there other information I need to ask for? Hey, Larry, is there other information I need to ask for to get more specific with this one? This one loves attacking my face. That's Nose. I call her Nosy. Just randomly attacks my face. Anyway, so like if there's like things that I could get specific in as far as the visions that I've had, because most of it deals with disciplines. It's on occasion I get ouch. On occasion I get prophetic visions about future events and stuff like that. And so, but for the most part, it's just the inner discipline. Like the visions I had this morning, I was like, I really had a straight, clean, clear view of my persona from here all the way up to consciousness, infinite consciousness at infinite speeds. Like, but we're kind of limited because of our ignorance, because of our preference for our apparent preference for the flesh consciousness, and so I mean that's the big struggle, is to like get away from convince that flesh consciousness to be okay with just being the divine, our one most high consciousness, our Christ consciousness, and allowing that to be in control of the mind's eye and the heart, so that those, and then keeping the mind in stillness and silence, so that is always available. And that's the importance of stillness and silence, is that the divine is always available through the very silent aspect of our shared mind's eye, because we have a shared mind's eye from here all the way up to infinite consciousness at infinite speeds. And so we share that mind's eye, and so that's where inspiration comes from. And that's like infinite intelligence that we're capable of navigating, if we just stay in silence, which is where most of problem solving in the world comes from, is people going to the I wonder what we should do thing, and that. But the whole point of this is, like, Larry, I'd like to know in what ways these techniques have been helping you. That would be a good thing to find out, like how you've been using them, how you've been trying to adapt them to your understanding, and be able to keep yourself in silence and stillness, so that peace is always there. It takes a minute. It takes a good couple months to get a good grip on that. And that's coming from my rough background, which was pretty intense. From the time I was born, from the time I was in a crib, getting left in my crib until there were maggots in my diapers. So, but, I chose that. We chose these hardships so that there would be no avenue but to look for the light within. But it'd be nice to know how how people like you, Larry, are adjusting the visions of the disciplines that I'm given to be able to utilize for your own life. Are you still there, Larry? Yeah. Well, then you're starting to realize that anything that's trying to disturb your mind or your heart is an invasive spirit. It's a spirit that's attacking you. And sometimes we give these things power. Sometimes these we're given power through our generations. And so when you take that power, you're taking your authority. And because it's only there to do one of two things: either continue the torture or surrender the power that it doesn't belong to it. So, how's your progress been since you found my channel? Have you been feeling like a lot more stable, like a lot more like in control of yourself? Because this is all about your sovereignty over all things material. Yeah, yeah. There's it works, and that's the thing about anyone else that's out there talking about spiritual things. Doesn't work, you know. Does it work? Typically, they have to go into these long, drawn out like trainers and stuff like that. Could take months, could take years, and stuff like that. And I mean, does any of it work, or are people just that good at manipulating other people's minds? Okay, you don't feel mentally ill anymore. That's awesome. And you were really struggling there for a good while. Yeah, but when you realize all that is external spirits, man, um, just to thank you for surrendering the life force you're coming against me with. Go back to where you come from. That's a big help, and that's all those spirits are there to do. And then keeping yourself in stillness and silence. Those are huge. Have you been getting any kind of downloads from the divine? Have you been getting any visions or presence of the word? Or presence of the word is where, like, a sentence, a paragraph, instant knowing just comes in to your mind's eye, and it comes out of silence, absolute silence. Yeah, it is tough. The rougher the life you've had, the tougher it is. The tougher it is to keep yourself focused. And so, I mean, okay. I'm assuming those are pretty tough past memories. When you learn to make these things an all day, everyday meditation, that's when it really starts making a huge impact. Like, I still struggle with things like the rage from the anger in my family. That was a generational thing, and that's toned down quite a bit. And rather than deal with, okay, so one thing I learned from the demonic attacks that I suffered in the last 15, 16 years is that not only will these things come against you to attack you, but they will also inform you of how they manage to do that once you start taking the road to your higher self. And then they have to divulge how they operate. The divine aspect in you has to reveal it. Plus these other spirits have to actually do that. So that's how I learned so much about demons and this whole process, is because they basically, I overcame the attacks, the black magic summoning, I overcame all these things, and they just became a wealth of information to in the regard of how all these things actually function, how they operate. And that was through some strange means, I tell you, because um, I was seeing these demonic entities in my mind's eye, and they were like in silence, almost kind of giving me this information. Like I wasn't hearing voices. Voices are not good, unless these voices are saying, hey, Larry, you figured us out. You figured out how to get us under control. You figured out how to take your authority back. If we mess with you, it's dangerous. So we're going to be pleasant. So, because it is dangerous for them, especially if people are sending them after you. So, this morning I had one hell of an attack. And it was like somebody was using technology to try to make me feel excessively dizzy. And I pulled that one out. I pulled that one out. Yeah, you don't want to have demons work for you, because they're going to do that anyway in your self-defense. Like when people attack chosen anointed ones, let's say, Larry, that um you overcome all the spiritual influences that have been making your life a living hell. You get back to the point where you were at a level similar to where I'm at, and you have your authority back. You've taken your authority back. These things can't mess with you. The minute you discern them, you say, surrender to the life force. You come against me with like the dizzying attacks this morning. I did that. They tried to get me for maybe a couple hours, and so I just kept saying no, no, that is not going to work here. You're going to surrender the life force you're coming against me with, and it doesn't matter if it's technology. It doesn't matter if somebody's hitting you with directed energy weapons trying to get you screwed up, like they have been with me, because the only power and energy that is here comes from the one most high. Everything that's in this realm, as far as energy concerned, belongs in that realm, and any bad use of it is under your authority um, to convert. And so when you convert it, you take the power from it, you send the energy back to where it came from. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt really badly, because they are using energy in the utmost wrong way. Energy should only be creative. It should only be helpful and creative, and come from a place of love and peace and uplifting each other. So, and I've had I still have my struggles with that too, because I've had so many people mess with me in the past 15 years. And I've got one guy, manager at work, that seems to think he can just be the spoiled brat bully that he's been since he was a kid. And um, I finally grown to the point where I stopped reacting to it, because I stopped taking in his use of the demons in his way of doing that, being a bully, trying to project his energies onto people, realizing in a slight manner that that's what he's doing, because at that level with the silver spooners, they know what they're doing. You know, they know that they're using their energy to try to mess with somebody else's head. And so they will do that. And when you've taken the power from those entities and sent those entities back, I'm telling you, um, there's a subconscious look in this guy's eyes that he looks like he's had his ass kicked, because I haven't I haven't allowed that to continue. I finally got a grip on that. I haven't allowed that type of spiritual exchange with him in quite a minute. It's been maybe a month, several months since I really got good with this. Yeah, but at some level, those spoiled rotten brats, they all know that they're using their energy to try to mess with other people and bring them down with a reaction, and they're trying to evoke reactions, and that's some heavily demonic shit. That's I wouldn't have anything to do with that type of thinking if you paid me. That's just not good. So, Larry, compared to before you found the information here, how percentage wise, how far do you feel you are along with how you interpret the information and utilize it? Is it a thing that you can foresee getting off the medications, because those medications are not healthy for you? Those medications actually damage your your nervous system. It's not something you want to do willy nilly all at once. But if you can get the voices to go bye bye, get the psychosis to go bye bye, understanding all of that is just spiritual work coming against you. Yeah. Well, eventually you will be able to. You just have to get good at this discipline. You know, keeping the mind silenced, keeping it at peace. Um, Anything that tries to disturb it, thank you for surrendering your power to me. The life force that you're using to come against me, go back where you came from, over and over and over and over again. And it doesn't take very long um, to get good at it, because if you go back through my visions on my subreddit, and then uh, through here, it's only been a few months. Well, if anything, that tells you that you do have a higher source. You do have a Christ self. You do have a presence in the one most high, because you just started walking into your authority, and and taking your authority back from something that we were all made ignorant to in this world down here by this information system that I refer to as a matrix. And their whole information system here is the inversion of what it is in our higher um, in our higher being. And it, you know, when you say thank you for surrendering the life force you come against me with, go back to where you came from, it proves without a shadow of a doubt that these are entities that try to disturb us. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're feeling like more stabilized. But that's not something that I did. I was given the information. But that's something you can thank your persona in the Christ self and in the one light most high. You thank that persona because that persona loves you infinitely, because the flesh consciousness and your persona in the one light most high in Christ work together to create this flesh vessel, so that you could merge that to become a united being from the flesh to the consciousness, and create a new life, as it says in Corinthians 5:15, I think. A new thing has been created. A new creation has come. This way that it was put. At the same time that we do this, the consciousness of the earth is also doing that. So I've got a lot of black magic cast against me. I mean, there's a period of a few months where my cats were just being absolute assholes, and that's tapered down because I realized the spell work was done on my house. And so, thank you for surrendering the life force you come against me with. Go back to where you come from on all the spell work, because these are spirits holding the energy here. And so, you should do that for your entire house. You should do that anywhere where you're feeling a little weird, because those spirits are there trying to mess with you. And let's see, that the guy that works with the Israeli Research Institute, he said, I'm kind of in a non-disclosure agreement with him, but he seemed pretty sincere about saying that I had helped him through a tough moment, and that's fine. I mean, there's a woman on here that said that she feels like she could get a grip on her drugs from what I've been given to share. So it's good. Yeah, I don't need a lot of people. That's why I don't look for making a following, having a huge following, trying to make money on this shit. Because in the end, when people are practicing this and they're getting a good grip on the spirits that of this world that are trying to influence them into being influenced by them, it takes a very small number of people. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's an excellent thing. And that's the byproduct of it. And eventually it leads into joy. Like, I'm in the process of learning to let that manifest joy as I get the world's garbage completely out of my consciousness and out of the way of what we are in divine terms. And I am always, like, every day, helping people find a laugh, and not through anything mean, but through just being able to say something funny. Like, one guy comes in today, he's going to rent something, and I said, well, how much were we going to overcharge you for that today? And he just starts laughing. So, being able to say funny things and help people find these are kind of dark days uh, in humanity, and so finding some humor. I've read in the Gnostic texts that Jesus was also somebody that would help people find laughter. So I think that the more that you develop this discipline, I think the more available you are to being able to invoke some laughter from people. I think to me, it was a natural progression over the last couple of years of going through this process and finding my way to this discipline. And eventually my humor just came out. So I'm able to help most people get a laugh during the day. Not too many times when I fail at that. Oh yeah, I mean things aren't as yeah. Well, you have to think of yourself in terms of being an aspect of God. Like so, you have a persona in the Christ. You have a persona in the One Most High. Jesus told Thomas in the Gnostic text that when you go to seek the Father and you get up there, you will find the self. You know, you'll be looking in the mirror. So, and that's a realm that we really have to practice humility to get to. Humility is fundamental, you know, in being able to realize that we're not all that in a bag of chips in this context because we're so influenced by the flesh consciousness. So, yeah. I thought I was going to have trolls today. I had trolls talking on other videos. I got to report them because they're going to do that to other people, and I can't allow that to happen. But I was going to leave his comment there for the world to see that trolls love. They prefer the mutually destructive humanity over what we're trying to attain with a discipline like this. So we're at 140. Well, that's all good news, Larry. That's all good news, Larry. Um, keep working on that. There's times you're gonna run into times of doubt. You're gonna run into times of this and that. Oh, I think I'm really a target for people that don't want this manifestation in the world, uh, because it undoes all the power structures. If you get just a handful, a cord of two is not easily broken. You know, you get just the fewest number of people to practice this discipline. Um, it has a powerful impact on the world. It's going to shift. If I could get 1,000 people working on this discipline, um, I'm being shown in my mind's eye right now that would be like a tidal wave of energy shifts in the world. So that's why I don't want to have too many followers or do something like that, because this could be incredibly destructive to people that are still stuck in uh, the animal consciousness, the flesh consciousness. So it can be very awakening. Spiritually awakening is a very destructive process. And if I had thousands of people doing this it would be it could be very messy, you know, because in that mirrors everybody the the appearance of the resolution of the true nature of everyone back to themselves, and they'd be at a loss, a complete loss. Okay, uh, I'm just gonna go ahead and tap out then. I was just looking for some feedback. I'm glad you're doing better, Larry. Um, so the better off you're shifting the world's energy, man, by accomplishing self mastery. So kudos to you, man. All right. You have a good day, sir.